Do you remember when your kids were toddlers? They had 5 ears. They heard things you were absolutely convinced they couldn't hear. The things you whispered, the things you only mouthed. The things you said when you thought they were fast asleep. Especially the words you really didn't want them repeating. They also had eyes in the back of their heads. They noticed everything, including the things you desperately hoped they wouldn't see. Their brains were sponges. Those little sponges soaked up everything the kiddo heard with those 5 ears and saw with those eyes on the back of their heads, picking up 2 or 3 languages at once without even realizing they were different languages. How is this possible, you wondered? I've been trying to learn a language for years, and it's hard. And my 3-year-old picks it up at the kindergarten with no lessons, no accent, no effort at all. What the brain does in the first 3 years of life is something we never quite repeat. Learning to walk, learning to speak, becoming a functional human being from a vulnerable little bundle. It's amazing. And this phenomenon has a name: neuroplasticity. That's the brain's ability to rewire itself through experience. So how does it actually work? Imagine a ski slope in front of you, fresh snow, untouched. You push off and slide down for the first time. You've left a trace in the snow. You go up and slide down again, same line. The trace deepens a little. You go again, deeper still. By the 10th run, the groove is helping you. By the 100th run, you're flying down it, barely thinking, because the trace is now a proper channel cut into the slope. That is neuroplasticity. You are the neuron, the trace is the neural pathway, and every time you repeat something, physical, mental, or emotional, you are carving the path deeper. What is actually happening inside your brain? You've got around 86 billion neurons up there. On their own, they don't do much. The magic happens in the spaces between them. Every thought, every memory, every word you've ever spoken, all of it depends on neurons passing tiny signals across microscopic gaps called synapses. Think of the last time you landed in a plane at night. Remember what the city looked like from above? Lights flickering in the buildings. As you got nearer, you started to see the roads, long ribbons of light threading between them. Tiny cars moving along the ribbons. That's your brain. The neurons are the houses. The synapses are the roads. The signals are the cars driving between them, carrying information. Every time you repeat something, the same neurons fire together. The same houses talking to each other, over and over. And every time they talk, the road between them gets a little better. What started as a dirt track becomes a lane. The lane becomes a proper road. The road becomes a motorway, wider, smoother, faster. More cars carrying more information more efficiently. Scientists put it like this: neurons that fire together wire together. Every time you learn something, a new recipe, a song, a new walking route, you are laying down fresh roads in that city. But your brain is clever. It doesn't waste energy on unused roads. It only strengthens the one that you actually use. So the connections you don't use get quietly pruned away over time. That's how you forget the language you stopped speaking. Not completely. The roads are still there somewhere. You could bring them back, but for now they are covered in a thick layer of dust. Use it or lose it. It isn't a slogan, it's biology. So why does this matter for dementia? What Alzheimer does is build roadblocks. Amyloid plaques settle into the gaps between neurons and stop the signals getting through. Whole streets shut down. In a sparse city, one roadblock is a disaster. You can't get across town. The information just doesn't arrive. That's what memory loss looks like from the inside. The road is closed. But in a dense, well-built city, you take a side street, you loop around, you find another way. And that's cognitive reserve. If you spent your whole life building roads, that means if you lived a cognitively rich life. Your city, your brain, is road dense, and that's a major protective factor. So much so that you can have measurable Alzheimer's pathology sitting in your brain, the plaques, the roadblocks, the lot, and still not show the symptoms because the signals are finding their way around. The more cognitive reserve you have, the more protected you are. So reading, learning new things, continuously challenging your brain is not just pleasure, it's a biological shield. So how do you build a cognitive reserve? Well, learn something new. Something that makes you feel a bit stupid for the first few weeks. A language, an instrument, chess, pottery, photography, whatever you enjoy doing. Because if it bores you, you won't stick with it. That feeling at the beginning, oh, I'm rubbish at this. That's when your brain builds the roads. That's the construction work. And the mistakes? Those are the most valuable part in the entire learning process. That's how the brain figures out where the edges are, where the road needs to go and where it doesn't. Every single error is a valuable information. The second one is keep your social brain on. The human brain is wired for connection, real connection, not FaceTime or like buttons, real eye contact, real skin in the same room in 3 dimensions. That's how the brain marks the world as safe. And this is why isolation is so bad for the brain. A brain that only talks to a television isn't doing much wiring. And finally, protect your sleep like it's the foundation, because it is. While you sleep, your brain consolidates everything you learned that day. That's when the concrete hardens. The roads you started building during the day are sealed in overnight. And at night, the brain's cleaning crew, the glial cells, clears the rubbish off the roads, including beta amyloid, that sticky stuff that builds the roadblocks in Alzheimer's disease. Good sleep is the single best thing you can do for your brain. If you want the full picture, every pillar of dementia prevention and the plan you can follow, that's what my book, How Not to Get Dementia, is for. The link is in the description. And don't forget to subscribe so you can understand your brain and what you can do to keep it shiny and healthy. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!